Red Bull has shuffled its deck yet again in the middle of a Formula 1 season, dropping Pierre Gasly back to Toro Rosso and promoting rookie Alexander Albon to the top team alongside Max Verstappen for the rest of 2019. That makes this year the 7th F1 season in Red Bull's history of team ownership to feature at least one driver change in its ranks. That trend started in its first campaign, so join us for a look back through every mid-season driver change Red Bull has made since 2005 and look out for the one that got away that we'll come to at the end. 2005, LIUZZI and KLIEN's JOBSHARE. Red Bull went into its first season with David Coulthard signed from McLaren to lead the team, and its second seat would be used to blood 2 youngsters in one season. With Coulthard on a 1-year deal, the initial plan was for Christian KLIEN and Vittorio LIUZZI to share the drive in 2005 before being teammates as the Scot moved aside for 06. KLIEN won a pre-season battle the team described as intensive to start the season alongside Coulthard, and after 3 races LIUZZI was given the nod. 4 races later KLIEN was back in, and he held on to the seat until the end of the season, winning the battle for the second seat alongside the re-signed Coulthard for 2006 as well. Red Bull said it abandoned the rideshare idea once it bought Minardi late in the year, as that meant both drivers were guaranteed a drive for 2006. 2006, KLIEN's time runs out. KLIEN raced for Red Bull full-time in 2006, with LIUZZI taking a drive at Toro Rosso, but the Austrian didn't complete the full season. When Red Bull signed Mark Webber for 2007, it offered KLIEN the backing to take up a drive in Champ Car, which he declined. As KLIEN tried to pursue other options to stay on the F1 grid for the following year, Red Bull released him early, bringing in reserve driver Robert Dornbos for the final 3 races of the season. 2007, Vettel arrives. Scott Speed lasted a year and a half at Toro Rosso, losing his drive to Sebastian Vettel after the European Grand Prix. It was clear something was up a week before the news broke, when Speed accused team bosses Gerhard Berger and Franz Tost of pushing like hell to get rid of him and teammate LIUZZI. He then confirmed rumours of a physical altercation with Tost after he'd crashed out at the Nürburgring, saying no amount of money would get him to drive for Tost and Berger again. Later that week, Speed was testing for the team at Mugello, and while Tost said he would still be in the car for the Hungarian Grand Prix, just a few days later Vettel was released from his BMW contract to take the American's drive. The team said its decision was based on Speed's performances and that its mind was made up before the Nürburgring fallout. 2009, game over for Bourdais. Everyone remembers Vettel's famous win for Toro Rosso at Monza in 2008, but what is often forgotten is that teammate Sébastien Bourdais qualified 4th for that race. But the Frenchman's chance of making it 2 Toro Rossos on the podium was blown when he stalled on the grid. Instead, when he left F1 in the middle of the following season, he did so with 2 7th places as his best results. Bourdais and the team were critical of speculation his drive was in doubt over the German Grand Prix weekend, but following that race, Toro Rosso announced his departure, saying his performances had not met expectations. 2016, Verstappen arrives with a bang. We'll be honest, when we couldn't find any in-season driver changes from 2010 to 2015, we assumed we must have missed one. But Red Bull calmed down for a while, preferring to make its changes at the end of each season. That all changed in 2016, when the unstoppable force of Max Verstappen led Red Bull to promote him to its top team at the expense of Daniel Kvyat after 4 races of that season. Unlike so many before him, Kvyat was retained, returning to Toro Rosso to fill Verstappen's seat. After both drivers sat through an uncomfortable press conference before the Spanish Grand Prix, Verstappen went on to instantly justify Red Bull's ruthless decision, capitalising on a collision between the Mercedes drivers to win on his debut for the team at Barcelona. 2017, the Toro Rosso Tangle. Okay, brace yourselves because this one gets complicated. Kvyat's return to Toro Rosso lasted over a year until he was replaced for the Malaysian Grand Prix by Pierre Gasly. Gasly drove alongside Carlos Sainz Jr. for 2 races, but the team had to find replacements for both for the US Grand Prix, as Gasly was racing in Super Formula that weekend and Sainz moved to Renault to replace Jolyon Palmer. That meant Kvyat was awkwardly recalled for one race, alongside Brendan Hartley, who'd previously been dropped by Red Bull's junior scheme before even making it to F1. Once Gasly was available again, he and Hartley saw out the year, with both staying on for 2018. Sebastien Loeb, the one that got away. Red Bull initially put rallying legend Sebastien Loeb in a Formula 1 car as a PR stunt, but when his performance raised a few eyebrows, things got serious. Loeb tested both privately and publicly with Red Bull in 2008, and during 2009 he embarked on an F1 fitness program, also testing a GP2 car to improve his sharpness in a single-seater. He'd even expressed an interest in taking Bourdais' seat when doubts over his countryman's future first emerged, publicly stating he was available to take the drive if it became free. In the end, the idea was for him to race in the 2009 finale in Abu Dhabi for Toro Rosso, and in Loeb's own words, the deal was very close. But he couldn't get an F1 super license, and the story will forever remain one of motorsport's great what-ifs. Which Red Bull driver changes do you think were most memorable, and how long do you think it will be before they pull the trigger again? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe.